The 2026-2027 La Liga season has officially kicked off, and with that, I'm going to be bringing you my 2026-2027 Real Madrid season preview. Now, I know that Espanyol, we already faced them, and I wanted to do this before that match even started, but life was just lifing, and I have no other excuses other than me being a lazy piece of shit. But I'm delivering the video now. And with this, I'm going to be telling you guys, doing like a little assessment of each of the players, what I expect from us in each competition, and how basically everything will be, how I want things to be at the end of the season, and just a little analysis, how things will be. And starting off first with this, I'm going to be talking about the players and what their roles will be and how important they will be coming into this season. So with the first player on our list, we're going to be talking about the best goalkeeper in the world, that being the Belgian Wall, Thibaut Courtois. What do I expect from Thibaut Courtois? I expect nothing less than what we've been getting ever since he's gotten here. World-class goal stopping, just doing everything for us whenever our defense plays like ass, just being the one to bail us out of situations where we play like shit, but somehow we stave off a loss or somehow we stave off a draw because he saves us. And that goes with our number 13, Andre Lunin. God forbid Thibaut Courtois gets injured. Lunin, we know what he's done for us, and in 2023-2024 Champions League season, or just a season in general, after Thibaut Courtois went down with his ACL, he saved us. He got us out of the mud, dragged us to the Champions League finals, where Thibaut Courtois was able to play against Borussia Dortmund. And individually for Lunin, I was like, damn, like this nigga can't play. But we gotta win the UCL. He has to play, Thibaut Courtois. But for those two, I'm just expecting what we've been getting from them ever since they've been here, just stopping people, bailing us out whenever our defense is more wide open than Bonnie Blue, and always being there to, always being the people doing what they're supposed to do, just stopping and bailing us out whenever our defense is getting spread open. Next up on the list, we got our number 2, which is Raul Asensio. Now, Asensio, whenever he first broke out, I remember I believe it was 2024, 2025. I think it was Mbappe's first season. It was a game against Osasuna. Eder Militao, he went up, who's the next person we're going to be talking about. Eder Militao went out with an ACL. Shocker. He went out with ACL, and he subbed in, and he did this magnificent long pass from basically out of nowhere. And I think he found Mbappe. It was either Mbappe or Jude that he found, and that was his debut for us. An unforgettable debut for Raul Asensio. Ever since then, he's been solid. He's been doing what he's supposed to do. Like, he's kind of boneheaded, makes like mistakes that you don't want to see from your center back. He's a good squad player, but what I'm expecting from Raul Asensio is just to be there whenever we need him to be there, to not lose his head, and to always be serviceable. We know he could play on his day. He could play at a world-class level. He's not world-class. He's far from it, but on his day, he could play like that. And I really just want him to, be there for us. He's always willing to step in for this club, and you always want a player like that, no matter the type of mistakes that they make. And that's what I'm expecting from him, is to just give us his all every time he steps on the pitch, and then he is willing to do that. Next up, after Raul Asensio, we have our number 3, which is Eder Militao. Now, Militao, what can be said about Militao that hasn't been said? In the past, he was a world-class center back, in my opinion, and he, at his prime, one of the best center backs in the world. But the problem with Eder is that he can never stay healthy for shit. His body is made out of glass. He's less durable than Anthony Davis. He's less durable than Bill Walton, and that's not like a oh fuck you to Militao, but like it's tragic for him as a person, but as a player for our club, you know, what do I expect from Eder Militao? I just want him as a player to get healthy, be there whenever we need him to be. God forbid, Kanate, Housen, any of our defense gets messed up because that could really derail our season. And you already see how shitty we could look at the back if people are not paying attention, like Alvaro Correas, because Valverde in our last match, he was literally telling House, he was told Housen was being pulled by some dude, by the Espanol defender. Valverde looked back and then he was like, yo, Correas, look at that nigga, bro, mark him. Correas didn't do that shit. He fucking left that nigga wide open, and he scored the goal. And then we had to bastard our way out of that shit at the end with Carlos Espi saving us. So our defense we can use Militao obviously whenever shit hits the fan. And then if he's healthy, he could start. He's a starter caliber player, obviously. And we just want Militao to be healthy. We want him to be, satisfied at the club. I don't want to see him go, but I also don't want to see him hurt all the time. So, what I expect from Militao, I want him to be healthy. And then if he is healthy, then that's as a backup or as a starter. Like you could put anybody else over there as a backup. That's beautiful. And we're really going to need that, especially this season. It's going to be a long season. We're going to be going for everything. I want my niggas to win everything. So he's going to need to be there. And then he has the experience to do all of that and more. Next up, we got the Sergio Ramos regen, Dean Housen. Now, Housen, like last season, before it was his first season at Real Madrid, he joined us for, I believe, 55 million out of Bournemouth. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't watch Bournemouth at all, but I did notice that it was one of the most expensive transfers that we ever had for a defensive player or a center back. And, his first season, it's his first season at Real Madrid after he played in Bournemouth, who over-exceeded expectations in that 2023-2024 season. And, I like Housen. He's tall as fuck. We saw that header he had from out of with those corners in preseason. It was beautiful. We need him to do more of that, something that he did in Bournemouth. He was the main target man. And what I expect from Housen, I really want him to get stronger, more built. I want him to put on some weight, but not lose like his mobility, because he's really not like a fast center back. But put on more weight, be more tactically aware of what's going on. He can learn that from like Konate, Militao, all these players. Just put on some weight, become a more aerial threat. And I feel like Housen will be good. He's looked really good ever since he got that number 4. And I just want more. I like what I'm seeing. I want more of what I'm seeing from Dean Housen. And I feel like the sky's the limit for him. One of these days, he could be the best center back in the world. He missed out on the World Cup, and I believe that can only fuel him for more, because he wanted to win that shit for him and his country. So that'll only be a motivating factor for him to keep pushing forward and keep becoming the best center back that he could possibly be. Now it's time to discuss our number 12, one of the sexiest football players in the world, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, last year we got Trent from Liverpool for a free transfer. Why? Because we always like to bitch around Liverpool. Just like how we signed somebody else for a free transfer that I'm gonna get into a little bit later. Now, Trent, whenever he first got here, he was really good. He had his moments. He wasn't the best. Niggas gonna cook him for his defense, which is not why we brought him here. We bought him for his offensive talents, his set pieces, the way his long balls, like all of that. Basically being a Toni Kroos in the back line. And he was decent. He had his shitty games like all of us did. Like last year was really poor. But when he did come, whenever he was starting, and then he did have his flashes, you knew why Trent is one of the best right backs in the world from an offensive standpoint. And the injuries, he had to compete with Dani Carvajal. And now now that Dani Carvajal is gone, we brought in another player that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But what I expect from Trent is to cement himself as one of the key starter in this team, because the way that Jose Mourinho likes to play counterattacking football, him playing these long balls to Mbappe, Diomande, Vinicius Jr., and then sometimes I know he doesn't like to play in the midfield. Like, what if we put him as like a midfielder, not a DM, because he's gonna get run through, but just as like another option to be advance the ball a little bit forward, but then you could also put like Dumfries on the right back. Try a little bit. Try a little bit experimentation. I'd say you know what? I say experimentation is kind of cooked because we are in the middle of the season. Not in the middle, but the season just started. We can't do all this experimentation bullshit now. But just, I don't know. Forget what the fuck I'm saying. Keep him at his right position. I expect Trent to cement himself as a starter and become one of the best right backs in the world again. He already is, but people are so quick to forget shit. And then what I expect from Trent is just to remind people about who the fuck he is. Now it's time to talk about Trent's former Liverpool teammate, who is now his Real Madrid teammate. What number does this nigga wear? Number 16, Ibrahim Konate. Now I want to let it be known, like, whenever we first signed Konate, I was a little bummed out. Why? I really wanted William Saliba, as unrealistic as that is. Well, it's not really unrealistic. I mean, it is, because they gave him a contract extension, Arsenal, that fucking club, and then they ended up winning the Premier League. So I want to say fuck Arsenal, and Saliba, you will be here in like 2-3 years. Just keep that in mind, whether you like it or not. And Konate, he had like injury problems with Liverpool, and people always shat on him for like, oh, Van Dijk was always carrying him, and like, how would he look without Van Dijk? He's a professional footballer. I'm pretty sure he looked just fine. And ever since he's been here, he's looked really good. In preseason, in that game against Espanyol, he did get dribble past once. And I believe that if he keeps this up, then he can be in those best center back in the world conversations. I want to see that for him. I want him to be that for my club. Anybody who is a part of my club, I want to see them succeed. So what I expect from Konate is to keep this up. I pray to God that he stays healthy, and that for him, like, everything would just work out fine. Sometimes he could be a little bit of an idiot. Like, sometimes, like, these players got a little bozo gene. But just keep up the good work, my nigga. And fuck what these niggas say that, oh, you can't ball without Virgil and Dijk. Fuck Van Dijk. Fuck Van Dijk. Now it's time to talk about the nigga with the prettiest hair in the world. Prettier than your bitches. And he has more hair than your bitch. And I have more hair than your bitch. Marco Correa! The World Cup winner. So I'm not gonna lie, like, I remember, like let's say like 2-3 years ago, like, Marco Correa, like, for some reason, I didn't watch Chelsea games, but I knew, like, niggas was just shitting on him. Speaking of Chelsea games, there's a Chelsea game going on right now versus Fulham where they're up 3-2. I don't know if that result will stand. So, like, Cucurella, like, they were just making fun of him. They were making fun of the whole Chelsea team, like, oh, like, this team is so expensive, this team is so shit, blah, 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 blah. And, Cucurella was not somebody I really paid attention to. And then I knew he was good, but, like, people would just, like, make fun of him for whatever reason. And then we were announced that we were going to sign Cucurella during the World Cup. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, if you want to spend, like, I believe it was like 60 million on a 27, 28-year-old, then fuck it. Like, we got to sign somebody on the left to be our left back. And then he ended up doing really good in the World Cup. I think he got dribbled past only like twice. He was just locking down shit. He looked like starstruck, bro. Like, I remember there was a report that said that he doesn't care if Vinny, like, comes back to track back, because he wants Vinny to do all the offensive shit while he does all the dirty work. And I like that Cucurella has that mindset, but me as a fan, I want Vinny to get his black ass and do some defensive work too, or else that could be a way that these niggas score against us. But I know what he's saying. Like he's gonna defend his left winger. And so, I like this signing, bro. I expect Cucurella to continue his world class performance from the World Cup. He didn't start against Espanyol, and I wasn't able to watch the second half of the game, so I'm not sure if he played, but I expect him to continue that form, continue to cement himself as one of the best left backs in the world, and eventually try to overtake Nuno Mendes for that position. Next up, we got our number 18, Alvaro Correas, who we signed last year whenever we got Xabi Alonso from Benfica. Now, not Cucurella. Alvaro Correas, he's all right. Like, he was doing really good whenever he first got here, but then it was the Madrid derby, or I believe we got fucked 5-2. I think Alvarez scored, like, the final goal Alvarez scored against us was this fucking free kick, and ever since that game, him and Housen were just, like, pure ass cheeks, and he never looked quite really the same. And now that Cucurella is here, his shit is basically fries for my nigga Correas. But he did start against Espanyol. From what I've seen from him, it was fucking terrible because his mistake led to a goal. And we signed back-to-back left backs, and then they were both really expensive. So now he has to fight for Cucurella for that spot, and then since I know that Cucurella fits the system that Jose wants to play more, now Correas has to fight for his position. So what I expect from him, I expect for him to fight back, just just do whatever he needs to do in order to get the minutes that he needs, because if not, his growth is going to be stunted, and then he'll request to leave, and then we basically signed him for jack shit. Now we got the Black Superman, Antonio Rudiger. Now Rudiger, I'm surprised he stayed with us. I thought Buddy was gonna leave, but he survived the cut. He made it to Avengers Doomsday. What do I expect from Rudiger? If we see Rudiger, I really don't want to see him start. Because that means like one of our younger center backs have gotten injured. But Rudiger as a squad player, as like a leader off the bench, we need a Rudiger. We can't just have all these young niggas, bro. We need some old niggas to look after the young niggas. So I want Rudiger. What I expect from Rudiger is to be a locker room presence and to fill in whenever shit needs to happen, and hopefully stay healthy because he's not gonna be playing as much minutes. Now next up, we got the Michael Jordan of Real Madrid, our number 23. That nigga Ferland Mendy. Now, Mendy, oh, brother, I don't remember the last time I've seen Mendy play for us. Now, Mendy is the best defensive left back in the world when healthy. There's nobody better than him. Like, you got all these players who be like, oh, I can't get past Mendy. Like, the same way, like, niggas can't get past the IRS. Like, Mendy is that good defensively. But the problem with Ferland Mendy is that my nigga is never there. So, like, having Correas, Mendy, and Cucurella as our fucking 3 center backs, like, that's beautiful. You got offense, you got defense, you got youth, you got veteran leadership. But Mendy is never there. So, I wish he could stay healthy, bro. We wanted with him as our starting defensive left center back in the 2024 Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund. Mendy is a problem. I pray to God that he stays healthy, and then whenever he's there, no one is gonna get past my nigga. And then like we can like cycle these players. Like there's so much that Mourinho could do, but like as a counterattacking, like Mendy, he's not good. Like he's not someone that you have like passing the ball, like getting forward up. Like he's really just there for like defensive purposes, and whenever he's there, no one can get past him. So what do I expect from Ferland Mendy? Since he's not the first or the second choice left back, stay the fuck healthy. And whenever you're there, I want you to lock shit up. lock shit up like make niggas cry, bro. Make niggas cry. Next up is the last of our defenders, the first team defenders, and that is my nigga Denzel Dumfries. Now Dumfries, I'm not gonna lie, he was not my first choice right back. I really wanted Yasko Garbardio from Manchester City. We could have got him after the World Cup, but Florentino Perez was being cheap, so we didn't go in for him, and Manchester City got them nigga instead. And Dumfries is still cool though. In the first game against Espanyol, he was doing okay. Trent looked better than him whenever he got on. But what do I expect from Denzel Dumfries? I expect Denzel Dumfries to, be what he's good at. Going forward, putting in shifts defensively, which he could do better than Trent, and just being the all-around right back that we need going forward. He's not gonna be here to replace Dani Carvajal or anything like that, but just do what needs to be done, and our system, and what Jose needs for him to do, and what I need for him to do, which is be a contributing piece in us lifting silverware. Now we got the number 8. Not Tony Cruz, but Federico Valverde, my Uruguayan prince, Mr. Do It All, Mr. Do It on the right. He could be a right wing, he could be a striker, he could be a right mid, a right back, a goalie, and your mama's bed. Like, Federico Valverde can do it all. Now, last year under Xabi Alonso, it was like probably the worst that we've ever seen from Federico Valverde. We all know that Federico Valverde is world class. Anybody who says otherwise is a fucking retard. But we didn't get the best of Federico Valverde last year because it seems like nobody knew what to do with him. In midfield, he was shit. His best position was right back, and he didn't want to play right back. So now that Jose is here, I really want Jose to bring back my captain, El Capitan, and prove to the world why he is a world-class midfielder. And just Mr. Do It All, cover all blades of the pitch, every single grass, and just show the world who he is. Crash in the box, long shots, free kicks, do it all, man. Like, I love Federico Valverde. There's no midfielder in the world I'll replace him with. He's that damn good, and I want to see the best of him again, and I want to see him lifting up that Champions League trophy come the end of the season as our captain. Now it's time to talk about our number 14, the nigga who knocked out Federico Valverde and put his ass down in the hospital, and that is Aurelian Tchouameni, who I believe is the best DM in the world. He's so good as a destroyer, like locking shit up. I remember him playing a lot of center back with Antonio Rudiger, and then niggas getting on his ass. He's not a center back, and he could do a job there, but he's not a center back. He's best where he is as a midfielder, and I want to see the best of him doing that again. I really know that Jose Mourinho could bring the rest out of him in that, and I want him to, because we're going to need that come these games against, Barcelona have signed like 5 niggas who have like 99 pace. Anthony Gordon, Karim Adeyemi, like as the main one. And then just, in the midfield, we get carved open a little bit too much because we don't really have nobody who can do a Toni Kroos or Luka Modric who can control the midfield. So we need him to stop that shit, redistribute the ball, pass it forward, and then have our wingers pass it to Mbappe and cook. So what am I expecting from Tchouameni? I expect him to be at his best again whenever he is healthy, because he missed the first game against Espanyol. He hasn't played since the World Cup, and I need for him to be the best defensive midfielder in the world again, and to solidify his spot as that with no debates and no Rodri dicksuckers. Now we got a number 15, Ardita Güler. Now Arda, I love Arda. I had a Real Madrid out of the jersey, but it got fucked up, and the lettering at the back got fucked up, and I'm not gonna buy a new one because that shit was too much money on. But he's been looking really good. Like I said, we don't have a Luka Modric replacement. Jose Mourinho said himself that he believes that Arda can do that. Now, can Arda do that? We don't know. I hope he does for the sake of him being on my team. And I love the player that he is. He's our most creative player in that midfield. And he just brings an energy that, we've seen it with Xavi Alonso. Alvaro Arbeloa didn't really do it with him, but if Jose, one of the best managers of all time, saying that he could bring the best out of him, and he has the history and accolades to back it up, then I would love to see it. What I expect from Arda this season is to continue to improve, eventually become world class to the point where no one can be like, oh, like he's just there for no reason or we should get rid of him. Like I want Arda and I want Jude to mesh together. Both of them could play at the same time. We know this. You can always play Jude as a center mid, which is the reason why we bought him for, because he was a center mid at Borussia Dortmund. But Arda, just keep passing the ball. His link up with Mbappe reminds me of Ozil and Cristiano. We need that type of chemistry because as we've seen in the past, that shit can win and produce trophies. So what do I expect from Arda this season? To continue to rise to as world class. Jose to be the guy that he needs to follow, and to have that chemistry with Mbappe that can produce wins. And whenever you produce wins, you produce trophies. Now we got our number 20, Bernardo Silva. Now Bernardo Silva, whenever we signed him, I was kind of like, okay, I like Bernardo Silva. He's a really good player, a good midfielder, technically sound. It's hard to rip the ball from him on his best day. But the problem is, do we really needed Bernardo Silva? I feel like we just got him for, the optics. But he's a really good player, and it doesn't hurt to have Bernardo Silva on your team. If you could get him, then get him. But I feel like we needed, we could have put that in other shit. But we eventually did put that in other stuff. But what do I expect from Bernardo Silva? To be a stabilizing presence in the midfield whenever shit hits the fan. No bullshit, because shit will hit the fan. It's time to discuss our number 27, Thiago Pittarch. Now, Thiago Pittarch, he rarely got minutes last season. It was mainly towards the end of the season where we really didn't have shit to play for because we fucking suck. But the moments that he did play, he was really good. Do I expect him to break out this season at Real Madrid with all these new signings and the people who are already established here? Fuck no. But I would like to see him go on loan, like Masantuno went on loan. I like to see him go on loan, build himself up, in a few seasons, come back and show the world what he really is about. Because that's I want to see him. I want to see him succeed at Real Madrid. Anybody who's here, I want to see them succeed. He's really good technically. He did make some fucked up decisions, but he's a young kid. I like what I've seen from him. He can develop more and more, and that's something that would be amazing, to be a young player playing for Real Madrid, the best club of all time. And so, do I expect him to break out? No, but whenever he does have his opportunities to do good, he's gonna fuck up. He could play in the Copa del Rey. Hopefully, we don't have to play our full strength squad over there up until we reach the semifinals. And then he could do his thing. But I expect for him to take the minutes that he does, listen to the people in the locker room, and keep absorbing that information. And then hopefully in the window transfer window for his career, he could get a loan and then end up going somewhere else and then come back, and then the Jose Mourinho can trust him more, and hopefully he can get more minutes. Now for our number 21, our Moroccan prince would be Brahim Diaz. Now, Brahim, he does absolutely nothing for us. This nigga hasn't done anything for us since the 2023-2024 season. The only thing I remember in that season this nigga did the most vivid memory from that season that I remember him doing was scoring against RB Leipzig. But ever since then, and this nigga just is. I don't want to see Brahim Diaz like ball for us, bro. Like I don't want to see this nigga on the pitch because if we see him on the pitch, it means like our starters are doing really shit, and we have to rely on Brahim Diaz. He only plays good for Morocco. For Real Madrid, this nigga is just trash. Like, what do I expect from him? I expect the same shit because if it was anything different, it would have happened last season, and it didn't. So I expect him to just put up shit performances only after our starters put up shit performances. But sometimes he does good. Like he's a better bench player than he is a starter for Real Madrid. But in Morocco, this nigga wants to play like fucking prime Bale on that fucking right wing. Now it's time to discuss the number 7 for Real Madrid. We got the Mager himself, Vinicius Jr. Ever since he got robbed of that Ballon d'Or by Rodri, he has not been the same player. Mbappe came, and they didn't click, and individually Vinny was just fucking gone. Now he has a new face, and he's flopping all over the damn place like a fucking fish out of water. Vinny got his contract that he's been bitching about for the longest, and he does that bullshit. Vinny has a special place in my heart, but the patience is wearing thin. You got your contract. We need you to produce. And it's just the same things with Vinny. I just want Vinicius Jr. back. I don't know who this player is. I want Vinicius Jr. That same player that we had in the 2023-2024 season. The same player that we had in the 2021-2022 season with Benzema. I want that player back. He has the capability to do so. He's not even 26 yet. He hasn't even reached his prime years yet, which will be 26. We want Vinny back. He's the number 7 for us. That means so much to Real Madrid fans, that number, and he's wearing it. He needs to live up to that in whichever way that he can, and we've seen him do it before. He needs to do it again. Now we got our number 9, Sir Bobby Charlton Endrick. Now that we got a player that I believe is going to cause Endrick not to start or get minutes like that, and who I'm going to talk about later. Endrick, he had a good season at Lyon. You know, Carlo Ancelotti never played this nigga whenever he was here. He got loaned out to Lyon. He was cooking shit at Lyon. He got called up to the World Cup. He didn't do anything because Carlo Ancelotti barely played him. Whenever he did play him, he had like a 1v1 opportunity against Norway. If he scores that, then the game could have went to extra time, or Neymar could have won the game at the penalty spot because that penalty that he had at the end, and then they would have advanced. But he missed that chance, and now we brought in a new striker, a taller striker who's going to do the dirty work that Endrick can't do because of his height. I don't know about Endrick on our team. What do I expect from Endrick? I expect him to cook whenever he does have the opportunities, but he needs to take his opportunities and run with it because the other striker that we signed, that nigga is looking dangerous, and he is going to be so important for us going forward. Now we got the main man himself, our number 10, Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe has had back-to-back seasons where he's the Golden Boot leader of La Liga, Champions League, and then he also got the World Cup Golden Boot this time. I think he's the first person to do that ever. If he wins the Golden Boot again, he will be the first player to do a three-peat of that since Hugo Sanchez, who also played for Real Madrid. Now, Mbappe, whenever he first got here, Toni Kroos retired. Toni Kroos retired, and we didn't do anything. We didn't do jack shit. We just brought in Mbappe, and we thought we could run it back. We fucked up, and then you had all these people scapegoating Mbappe. I don't know how you scapegoat somebody who does 40, 50 goals a season. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Mbappe scoring all the goals doesn't affect the defense, which was pure ass. So Mbappe is doing everything that he's supposed to be doing. In that game and then he did it last year too. In that game against Espanyol, he didn't do shit. Like that goal that eventually led to Carlos Espy scoring. This nigga was dribbling into four players for what? He didn't look like World Cup Mbappe. We need World Cup Mbappe if we're gonna win La Liga, Champions League, Copa del Rey, everything that we need to win the Sextuple. So we need like Mbappe. He's good for me. We know what Mbappe is going to do. And yes, he has bad games, but to me, that is the world's best player. He has been, and it's a shame that he hasn't won a Ballon d'Or yet. And him and Harry Kane are the favorites. I hope that Mbappe wins that because he's earned it. He's earned it. He doesn't deserve it. He's earned it, and he's gonna continue to get better and better. And then he's gonna continue to score more goals and more goals. And that's what we need to win games and to win trophies. Next, we got our Indian Messi, Rodrigo, our number 11. Now, Rodrigo, he tore his ACL. I remember whenever Mbappe first got here, people were like, oh, it's going to be exciting. Rodrigo, like, there was like Mbappe, Vinny, Bellingham, but people always forgot about Rodrigo. He didn't have the best season as well whenever he was there. Like, Rodrigo has just really been shunned out. Now that we signed Diomande too, it's not looking good for him, and he's still recovering from his ACL. So I really just want Rodrigo to come back healthy and then be anything that he was before Mbappe came. Before during that season that Jude Bellingham was first here, because Mbappe is a special player. He's done so much for us on UCL knockouts, and I really just want to see him. I just really want to see Rodrigo back on the pitch doing what he loves best, scoring goals and assisting for us, because he's such a special player, and it sucks to see the way that people treats him. Ever since Mbappe, Vinny, and Bellingham became just like the big three. Now we got our number 19, Carlos Espy, the nigga who saved us yesterday. He's exactly what we need, a Joselu replacement. Like, we need that style of personnel whenever Mbappe, Vinny, all them niggas is bullshit. We need Carlos Espy. Give me Bayern. We're going to give them niggas PTSD, and we're going to get revenge from them from fucking us in the Champions League last year. Thank you, Carlos Espy. He's perfectly what we need, and we just need him to keep doing what he's doing, and that's why Jose Mourinho brought him in. My shit was dying, and I can't record a video of my shit dying. But last but not least is Jose Mourinho. We brought him in last year, Xabi Alonso. I really wanted Xabi to work out here, but the players didn't respect him. They didn't use his tactics. And he was a dodo bird too with the substitutions that he was making, always relying on Brahim for whatever reason. Alvaro Barola came in. He lost to Albacete. He wasn't there for the long haul. He was just there for a little short time. But Jose Mourinho, he's been here before. He coached, in my opinion, the greatest Champions League team. I mean, the greatest team ever to not win the Champions League. The 2011-2012 version of Real Madrid. That loss that we had to Bayern in that UCL run was the catalyst for Cristiano Ronaldo becoming the player that we know him as today for Real Madrid. So what do I expect from Jose Mourinho? To settle the egos in this motherfucker. For him to tell these niggas to put themselves aside for everybody else. Like, none of that bullshit that played this last season. Just go out there and ball, my nigga. I don't want to hear none of these. I don't want to see niggas fighting. I don't want to see people forming alliances. Like, all y'all need to form together as a team, because this is a brotherhood that needs to win, because that is what we do. That's what we do. We win together, we lose together, and we keep going together. And Jose, he's gonna be the one to do that. That's what I expect from him, and that's what I know what he's going to bring, and that's all that we can really ask for Jose Mourinho. Now it's time to talk about the trophies. Now, what do I expect? Now, we need to win La Liga. Barcelona have won that shit 2 years in a row. We cannot let them get a three-peat. We have to win it. I believe they faced Elche yesterday, and they fucked them 5-0. It's Elche. What do you expect from them? but they look better against a shit opponent than we did against a shit opponent. And what? Like, I mean, Espanyol, they be giving like the big boys problems. They be giving Atletico problems and Barcelona problems as well. But it's time for us to win La Liga. We can't let them win 3 in a row. So we have to win La Liga. Now the Copa del Rey, really want to win that shit too. They won it last year on our head tops, and that's a disgrace. But with the main competition that really important to me is the Champions League. We have the 3 consecutive Champions League wins, 2016, 2017, and 2018, and that is under jeopardy by PSG. Now PSG, they don't look good. Like, I think yesterday they played Renan, and they were down 2-0 before Ferran Torres, out of all people, saved them, just like how him and Nico Williams saved Spain and won them a World Cup. This shit made no sense. So bare minimum this year, like, I'm gonna be real, like, we need to win La Liga, and we need a double. We need to win La Liga, and we need to win the Champions League, or La Liga and the Copa del Rey. No, we need to win La Liga and the Champions League. The Copa del Rey, if we win it, I would love that, but we need to win La Liga and the Champions League, and that's my expectation, for us to finish first in the Champions League, finish in the top 8 position, so we don't have to do none of that playoff extra round of 32 bullshit, and win the Champions League, win the 16th, and then just keep running it up from there. And that is my La Liga, that is my Real Madrid preview for the 2026-2027 season, talking about the players, talking about where I believe the coach too, and talking about where I believe we will finish up. I believe we're going to finish first in La Liga, and we're going to win the UCL. The Copa del Rey would probably be close. We got to be in the semifinals at least. And, you know, would we win it? It's hard for us to win. We haven't won since 2021 against Osasuna, but that's what I want, for us to win the double. We got to at least win 2 trophies. After we won trophyless last season, like the year before that, we would be like, oh, we won the Super Cup and the Intercontinental Cup. Last year, we didn't do fuck all, and this year we have to change that. Finish first in La Liga, Champions League winners, and that is it for my predictions. And if you don't agree with me, suck my dick, Hala Madrid, and we're going for that 16th, baby.